friends, and welcome back to another Needlessly Nostalgic. I'm one of your hosts, Tyler Nichols, with my other host, Lance Valchek. Today was your pick because this is a film that you're quite a big fan of. So we are covering Pet Sematary 2. This is from 1992, directed by Mary Lambert, written by Richard Outten, starring Edward Furlong, Anthony Edwards, Clancy Brown, and Jim Peck. I'll give Jared Rushton some credit too. I always think of him from Big. He's the bully in this movie, but whenever I see him, Big is the first thing that comes into mind. So it's very strange seeing him so angry in this film. What's your relationship with not just the Pet Sematary 2 film, but the whole Pet Sematary franchise?
This movie and the first were probably some of the earliest movies I watched in my life. I know this for a fact because I saw this one when I was, I want to say 6 years old. So I probably saw both of these around 6 years old. And I'm going to tell, nobody's going to believe me when I say this, but I watched these both as a little kid. I remember my dad renting them. This one was relatively new. I think it was in the new section, and the first one wasn't. And we watched both of them over a weekend. And the first one didn't do anything to me. To this day, I swear, even as a small child with no comprehension of existence, I was like, that's kind of boring. Fucking mid-calf needs to get off the Valium. This one oddly messed with me when I was a little kid. I don't know why. Because it's the funner one. It's the more rock and roll one. I've watched it ever since. Obviously, I think I got a little older and I found it not scary, but I found it cool. Now that I'm older, I absolutely am drawn to its 90s aesthetic, its 90s tone, and the fact that it's very Halloween-ish, or Halloween-ish, I should say. It's Halloween-y. It has a Halloween-ish vibe. It's fall palette color. It even takes place, I think, on a part of Halloween because they're all dressed in the cemetery. But I didn't realize that as I was younger that it was that much of a Halloween vibe. And now that I'm older, I'm like, not only is it fucking Clancy Brown stealing the show, not only is it a fall color palette, not only do we have John Connor, Officer Hadley in here fucking just owning every single scene. So I love it. I've been fighting people my whole life. Nobody else likes it. I don't care. I do not care. I did a review on Joe Blow Originals or Horror a while back. There's a lot of people in the comments that were like, this guy's an idiot. And I stand by my word. I am right and everybody else is wrong.
I don't have quite the same experience with the film as you in that I only watched it, I think, this past year for the first time through completion. But the rest of the Pet Sematary series is probably amongst my least favorite horror franchises.
It's boring.
I think it's so boring and it just doesn't really work. I know that you used to be a fan of the remake. And there's a great video on the Arrow in the Head Show channel. It's a modern horror movie talk, all on Pet Sematary with, I think we recorded with Andrew Hatfield. And you essentially pushed for it without having seen it in a while, and then saw the movie again for the episode, and then didn't like it. So it's like that's kind of how I feel about that. The whole series. It's like, yeah, even when you think that you like it, it's really not great. Even the people that I think like the original Pet Sematary, I think they're just kind of thinking of scenes, and they're not actually putting it on and watching it and enjoying it in that way. That's my theory, at least, because I hear people. It's the same way that I hear it with the Salem's Lot miniseries. I'll hear people talk about how they like it, but I can't say that. Can't say I've talked to anyone. They're like, oh yeah, I just got done watching Pet Sematary or Salem's Lot.
You're 100% correct. Here's the thing that I've always been against the grain with. I think the first movie is famous for killing the kid because it is a very iconic scene, and I think at that time that was pretty. I mean, the book, it is one of King's better books for sure, and I love Stephen King. I know it's a personal book; it's one that kind of got to him, and as it's one of those things. I don't have kids, so I'm not a father. So I do think a lot of it ties into it was the it was probably late 80s. I want to say, was it 88 or 89 when it came out?
Yeah, around there.
So the idea of killing a kid and bringing it back, I think, just really shook people, and a lot of people saw it as kids, and I think there's a lot of nostalgia for it. And I'm not going to fight people on this, but I've rewatched it a lot. And outside of Fred Gwynn's amazing Maine accent, it's a boring movie. I think it's very miscast. And I think Pet Sematary is the kind of thing that would be good as like a 3-part miniseries. And I think the part of the remake that I did like is I thought it just got the tone better. But after rewatching with you, all the other issues that the original had popped up in the remake, and I was just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I remember the sound design of the remake being just like overbearing.
It's hard. Suspiciously, it's a hard book to do that should be easy. I think the problem is because it's a drama for 2/3, and then it turns into horror, and that doesn't make for a great horror movie. You'd have to make a great drama that also has horror in it, and they've yet to do that with Pet Sematary. That's why part 2 works for me, is because it's like, hey, let's lean into what works and sort of leave a lot of the drama. Like, there is drama here, and it's very melodramatic, but it's like, it's kind of fun because it's so heavy-handed that I find it enjoyable, where the first one is trying to make a good movie. It's just that for some reason, everybody was spiked with Valium, and they just kept rolling. And I'm not blaming Mary Lambert. I think she did a fine job, but that tone of that movie bores me to death. Thinking about it now, I'm kind of lowering my heart rate. Like, I need to get more energetic. I should go get a Red Bull right now because I'm fucking bored talking to you, thinking about how boring Pet Sematary is.
It's interesting too that Mary Lambert directed both the first films because like they're very different from each other. Very, very different. As a matter of fact, I think the whole reason that I watched Pet Sematary 2 was because of our conversation about the remake. And you insisted that I check it out.
And go on, because we had to talk about, I didn't give you details, and that was my own problem. I'm haunted to this day.
Yeah, I went into it expecting, I was like, oh, we finally got good Pet Sematary. Like, yeah, I'm ready for this like dark and like just good, I don't know, world building from this, because the novel just does such a good job. And I was like, oh, we're finally going to get that. And it was not that at all. It was very schlocky. And like, so I had when you go into a film and you're expecting one thing, it's very hard to then switch gears. And I had a very tough time with that. I still was able to see like the enjoyment, but I think I even texted you shortly after. And I was like, wait, that's the good Pet Sematary, which then prompted a whole rant.
We got Anthony Edwards from ER. We got John Connor. We got Clancy fucking Brown. And the fact that, here's what I like about this one, is essentially the main protagonist and kind of the second main character is Clancy Brown becoming more of a zombie and just having fun. Like, he's not like, what's his name? Gage trying to kill his mom. He's fucking eating mashed potatoes. He's well, I guess assaulting your wife that's not a good thing. But that's probably that's the only serious part. Besides that, he's kind of having a fun time.
I mean, yeah, I think that we're shown right off the bat because it starts off it's like on the film set and Edward Furlong's mom gets killed. She gets like electrocuted, which like it's the whole setup. It's so over the top and it also feels very anti-Pet Sematary at the very beginning. It feels like New Nightmare.
Yes.
It's like they saw, or wait, New Nightmare wasn't even out at that point.
No,
so it's like New Nightmare saw this and was like, oh yeah, we need to do that kind of an intro.
There's a meta-ness. And also as a kid, I really loved behind the scenes stuff. I was obsessed with Discovery Channel's Movie Magic. So I'm hooked off the bat. Oh, behind the scenes of a movie, but it becomes real because there's an accident and the mom dies.
I like that, even though it is very, one thing I noticed is they really don't do a great job of establishing right in the beginning that like, oh, the mom died in LA and then they're off in they went to this place. They're off at this other, like wherever the fuck this place is, wherever this movie takes place at. It's not LA. It's not outside LA. It's some bumfuck Midwest town is what it seems like.
Wait, you're talking about like the town of Pet Sematary, like where they end up with?
Yeah, where the whole film takes place.
Maine, because
it's in Maine.
Yes, Clancy Brown has that amazing. I mean, God, it's a beautiful accent.
Yeah, your mother and I used to be sweethearts. Prom, homecoming, whole 9 yards.
He's doing the Fred Gwynn thing. Yeah. So this is Maine because they drive past on the bikes when they steal John Connor's kitten. They drive past the Creed house. And it's like a different house. Like they didn't even try. Yeah. They just put like a mailbox.
Well, I don't think that I don't think they do a good job of showing that transition, and it's just like, oh, it's just okay. We're now across the country, apparently.
No, because it's through a really
not much acknowledgement.
Weird line of dialogue that they get it through when Gus is talking to Anthony. Is it Anthony Edwards? I keep saying his name.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and he's like, I brought my son back here for a new life. And it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, well, it made it seem like you were shooting in a warehouse in the same town.
Yeah, just how it's presented. It doesn't seem like it's a far off. Especially, I think too, the thing that doesn't sell it is all the paparazzi. The paparazzi makes it seem like they are just nearby LA, and then the fact it's like, oh, wait a minute, so all these paparazzi followed to Maine, like, yeah, to get some funeral photos of this lady. Like, yeah, I don't think. And also too, like, does anyone remember most like celebrity funerals? They don't usually like, they're not usually having press like that. Press or in like the bushes getting photos with like long lenses.
They're not in the they're literally, they have like fucking seats in this.
They're 3 feet away from their grieving son and husband, where it's like, give them some space. Click, click, click.
I mean, in all fairness, this entire subplot doesn't need to exist, because we could just start the film right here. Get rid of the paparazzi. Your mom died of a heart attack. They moved, or they came back to town to bury her because this is where she's from. And then I don't know that like her being a celebrity doesn't really do anything except for maybe that the bully gets to talk about the guy's dead mom. Her being a celebrity doesn't do much.
It's just an element of the story. I mean, and the same thing with name is Marjorie Hargrove. It's Anthony Edwards' like assistant, which they almost try and. It's almost like a romance between them that doesn't actually blossom. She's like, she acts almost like a stepmother at one point, but she's not.
Like right away.
Yeah, but there doesn't seem to be a romance. At least did I miss a romance between them?
No, within 10 minutes, she comes to the house, is like trying on, she like finds some of the dead mom's clothes, and it's like, oh, this looks good to me. And then like a minute later, she's like correcting him on something. It's like, you're not my mom.
Dude, her trying to on the dead, or wanting to try bringing up the dead mom's dress, like, that is just brutal. And then obviously later on she tries it on. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, lady?
And this has to be either like the day after or the same day, the same weekend, let's call it, of the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's already trying to get some of that Anthony Edwards dick. Let's just be very clear on that. She saw Edwards and was like, you know what? I got a chance. And just fucking wearing her little blouse is open. Listen, Godspeed. I have nothing against the woman. In fact, I say, get it while the going's hot.
I think it would work even better if they set up properly that, like, they went to this small town. And it's like, then I would immediately be like, okay, this cute, I would say redhead, like strawberry blonde, maybe. This lady is there's clearly not many options coming into town. So she's like, oh,
she's like a harlot that just sees.
It's like, did you hear he's a widow. They just buried the wife. And she's like, yeah, exactly. There's no wife, right? She's like, okay, I got to get in on that. He's a doctor. I gotta make sure to mark my territory. There aren't many eligible bachelors coming to Maine these days. So like,
she should be the stylist from Edward Scissorhands, who immediately gets horny. It's like, okay, there's new meat, fresh meat.
Yeah. If anything, she needs to lean into it more, because how it's presented in the movie, it almost feels like she's almost like a fan of the mother. It's almost like an obsessed fan.
But if we're trying to make a actual good movie, I'd just remove her totally and just have far more Gus Gilbert.
Yeah, I mean, it adds, but I do think her inclusion just adds to the schlockiness, where it's like,
she's like, because she's all bad. She's in a minute. She's like trying the clothes. She's like, you should really do better at school. It's like, bitch, who are you?
Dude, you bring up school. Holy shit. This kid is already he's in a new school. He's already got his own bully. Like, he has his own little best friend that he's developed very fast, which, I mean, that kind of thing does happen.
It's cute. I like Drew. And his like little wolf dog, Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Drew is essentially like our second lead. Like, they focus on him just a little bit less than they focus on Edward Furlong.
And his family's the more interesting plot to me, only because, I mean, outside of my love for Hadley, Mr. Clancy Brown, I think what got to me as a kid, and it's odd because it's such a schlocky movie, is as a 6-year-old, the fact that you could be with a mom and a dad and it wasn't safe. Because it's funny, but he is also super abusive. He goes and shoots a fucking dog because the chickens, are being essentially like, not even attacked, but the dog is like messing with the chicken coop. He stops trying to sleep with his I guess girlfriend, right? I mean, they're not married, or stepdad, so maybe he's married. But regardless, it's like he goes and tries to shoot the fucking dog. I mean, that's kind of dark.
Dude, that whole bit where it's like, wait a minute, you're annoyed. Essentially, it's essentially him being mad at himself, because if the dog is getting into the rabbits means that whatever bullshit safety thing that he put on the rabbit coop not really working. So it's almost like he's just mad at himself. And yeah, the fact that like the mom doesn't immediately see that as like, hey, what the fuck? But it goes back to that hometown thing or small town thing. It's like, hey, there's not many options. And also, he's the sheriff.
He's the sheriff. And he's clearly abusive. Because there's a scene when they're eating dinner and he basically calls the kid fat and takes food off his plate and gives it to him and himself and the mom. He says something like,
Drew, don't remember inviting Zowie in for dinner.
So it's like, okay, so the dog has to stay outside, but then you're mad that the dog is going after the chicken coop when you could just keep it inside. He's just I mean, he's a piece of shit. Half kind of awesome, but half as an adult, and I see this with kids. I'm like, it's hard. I mean, and go back to the bullies real quick. The first thing they do is try to like essentially like joke that they're going to kill the cat. It's like, dude, we're starting off at 10.
Stealing their kitten, like what the fuck? Though there's a weird moment that happens when they steal the kitten and they put it in like a cage in the pet cemetery. But the bullies, they like before Furlong goes into the pet cemetery, the bullies leave and little fat friend goes with them. It was so strange. I think it's just so that then they can set up, because he comes back for a little like almost jump scary type moment a couple minutes later. It almost feels like it's specifically for that. But all I could think was like, why are you leaving with the bullies? Like, what the fuck?
They're not your friends.
Yeah, they're clearly not your friends. Like, that's...
You said something before, though, not here, but about how like, yeah, and when you're young, you kind of like still hang out with around the same people just because it's something. Because later in the movie, it's kind of weird because the bully and all these kids are like at the same little graveyard party. And it's like, you hate each other. Why would you even be next to each other? He fucking like threatened to kill your cat. Yeah,
it is funny how that kind of thing, like now, and it's something that happens post school. Because it's outside of work. It's like, yeah, I don't need to spend time with people that I don't like. So what's like, I'm not going to, but it's in school. It's like, yeah, that's all school is spending time with people you don't like, whether it's class or sports, athletics, like whatever club, or then just, I mean, that's just how, I mean, parties too, or you just, it brings in more people that then would then not likely be hanging out. And I think that's always because people, we bring it up too, even with, might watch like a Friday the 13th film and we're like, where the fuck, how do these people like each other? What does this dynamic work? I think it's like part 7 where it's like, no one likes each other. There's like a couple groupings that like, and it's like, as much as we talk shit about it, that is still something that happens, like that kind of thing. There might just be like one anchor point that then suddenly it's like, yep, these people just like one person here. They're all here for that one guy. And then there's like a bunch of conflicts amongst the group.
I mean, you make a good point. I think for the kids, it makes more sense. For part 7, which I love to death, and we all know this, it's. I think you made a good point because it's hard to believe they're only because they're clearly not kids. And they'd like drive there. But you're right, though. I was
going to say, that's not something you can fight me. That was one of the only things I got you to agree with me on.
I agree. Because it is like, yeah, this isn't like after school where they're just, let's go to the house. Like, this is a planned trip. people had to get some gas, get supplies. So it's kind of dumb. For this, it's kind of, they did it for schlock value just to get a jump scare, which is dumb. But, the later on they were hanging out. So it's that weird kid vibe. And I always think when I watch movies like this, I think I was thinking about this last night. You actually, let me ask you, because you just saw this. How do you view a movie like this that has two kids as the lead, two dumb kids, because they're kids, not the best actors, but do you find yourself, because I'm I don't know, this is really fun, but kids make so many dumb decisions in movies at this age that I get annoyed, but I clearly don't get annoyed by this. How do you view something like this for the first time in your 30s? How old are you? Don't say that, but
I'm 33. That's a good question. I think that because I'm very similar to you in that I hate kids, and kids in movies really bug me, and usually kids as leads I'm not super into. But there's something very endearing about these kids, and I think there is just the element of loss and grief, because obviously Edward Furlong just lost his mom. But there's also the loss of, he thought that his parents were going to get back together, which then that obviously cannot happen. Then there's with his fat little friend, what's his name? So I quit calling him Fat Friend.
Well, it's Drew Gilbert.
Drew. So when Drew, he's so tragic because of the fact that it's he's in an abusive household. So it makes them more interesting, because there's one thing that I absolutely hate in movies, and there's always an exception, but I hate the wise child thing where it's they speak like an adult. They seem to know they're on top of every situation, where it's fuck that. No,
as cute as Macaulay Culkin, but it became kind of too much of a trope that annoys me too, where it's you're not in college, stop it.
Yeah, where they're 2 steps ahead. They're practically Sherlock Holmes with their deciphering, or I'm okay, settle down. What are we doing here? But there's something that I really enjoyed about this, and I kept thinking about, was the dog acting. Yeah, that's that poor dog, because at one point the dog is on the ground. Drew has to come up and inspects the dog, and then pulls the dog up onto his legs.
Yeah, pets the head, and the dog doesn't get up or have any natural. It plays dead not dead, but it plays wounded, I should say.
Yeah, because I've absolutely seen some films like this where it's they clearly just drug the dog, or the dog is just you can tell they're there's the owner is just off camera saying sit. Yeah,
the dog's always looking in some weird place. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing that bugs me so much, is when it's very obvious where the actual dog handler is. So there's a movie where I'm oh, holy shit, I can't tell this animal seems to just be behaving properly versus them fucking darting to certain areas. Yeah, there's it gets out of control, I feel recently, because I think that you can digitally remove owners, people like that. So then they've gotten lazier, where they're it's okay if they're in the shot, we'll remove them.
Yeah, they do a lot with lights now. Though I should say, for some reason, this is the first time I've caught it, or maybe the first time I'm remembering in a while. The dog acting is great, but man, was that a pretty rough looking stuffed dog they were carrying. The head was it's weighted too much. It doesn't seem to have any sort of weight to it. The head's obviously too heavy, but the body has nothing. I don't know. It was kind of goofy. I was laughing because the face looks super fake, and they did their best to hide it, but it just kept popping around. I'm oh guys, cut.
Well, and I don't get to why the fuck. So obviously Zoe comes back from the grave, and it's not good. It's the gore from the shot, from the bullet from the gun is still there, and the dog is just acting aggressive. So, and they are aware of the weird stuff going on with the Pet Sematary. So why the fuck did they decide to then bury Gus?
Because
we already saw what happened.
We need a cool movie. No, they have no, dude. They're kids. They're dumb. There's no good excuse. Because here's the thing. You're right. There's no movie if we have any logic. The only thing I'd say, and I think Mary Lambert said this herself, is that these kids, they're young and they're dumb, and so like, if they could bury Gus, he comes back, they wouldn't get in trouble because essentially the dog. I mean, but there's I can't fight that. And no, it's dumb as hell.
I guess I also need to clarify because I think I made the statement earlier of how I wasn't into Pet Sematary 2, and I have done a lot of like nitpicking with like just talking about stuff. I really enjoyed the movie on this viewing. I'm more bringing stuff up in terms of the schlockiness. Pretty much everything I brought up is more of why I think that lends towards the entertainment and it's the schlockiness because it works. All this stuff just works. Like it's fun. And
I do like there's one thing about the first one that I really did appreciate is the look of like the Indian burial ground. Just some giant open thing on top of a cliff, and obviously the rocks placed by the film crew. But I just always like that look, and I do like in this thing they do the big wide after the dog's buried. Or I think when they're walking up, actually, and it's the same place. And it's in Maine. I'd actually probably like to visit it because it looks very scenic. And that's just a little nod to the first one that I can appreciate to say I like that look. And that's something they really fucked up in the new one. There is no look to the Indian burial ground besides some like digital fog and some fucking, and it looks like a stage.
I hate the digital fog look. Digital fog is just the worst. Like, it's so bad. You know what? One fun thing that I wanted to bring up is towards the beginning of the film, they show a director's slate. And did you notice the names on that director's slate?
No, I usually don't pick up and stuff like that. What are the names?
One of which was N. Tyler, which I thought was very interesting. Obviously, Tyler Nichols. And then the other one, I don't know what the initial was, but it was Fallon.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so it was Tyler and Fallon there. Where I was like, what the fuck? That's very strange.
Horror, yeah. I think John likes Pet Sematary too. I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I think most reasonable people would. There's a lot of fun to be had in this film. So the dog, I like when the dog gets brought back and everyone kind of just treats it like it's normal. Like they have the vet comes in, but it's like they're not like, oh yeah, that's a really bad wound, and he seems to be acting a little different. It's more just like, okay, we got our dog back.
Anthony Edwards is, I'm going to hold him over for a little. He's going to do a little research. Come on, let's not give fucking Anthony Edwards a little more time. Do they take the dog? I don't they hold him? I swear to God, they hold him.
They hold him. Yeah, they hold him. They take him, right?
He kills all the, what?
He kills all the animals in the, he kills
all the kittens.
No, yeah, he kills all the kittens in the one thing. Because I was going to say the rabbits don't happen until later.
No, it's the kittens. But I think here's my pitch to you. Maybe Anthony Edwards is a really shitty veterinarian. Maybe it's just a lot of it's a skill issue. He comes back, he's fucking rusty, because he couldn't even protect the kittens. The guy doesn't know. He's also, at this point, give the kittens away. Like, I assume this is days and days later. They're sitting in that cage. That ain't cool.
Yeah, I mean, because what happened? Does Edward Furlong still have that cat? Do we see? Okay.
Yeah, the cat lives.
I was gonna say because I couldn't remember if they had actually brought that back up, but
because the dog comes back and then they have the Halloween party at the graveyard, and that's where Zoe kills Gus.
Oh my God, there's a moment that's hilarious that earlier in the film that okay, so I think it's the first time it's like the boys are going into the Pet Sematary. I think it's actually when he's going for the cat. And it's like this wide shot, and it's like a great shot to set up the actual Pet Sematary. But there's this little possum that they put that it's clearly someone's pet that they just put to give it a little bit just a little bit of
he kicks it for no reason. That
I don't know about him kicking it. I just know this poor possum is shaking and the shot because the shot goes across.
Possum. Okay, I'm sorry.
A real possum that they're just they just added to the shot to add nature and this is clearly not a set and blah blah blah. But it's just cracks me up because you can see this poor possum shaking as it goes along. I was like, oh yep, someone's poor pet. Hopefully they were treated all right.
I was thinking there's that Kinnison bit in the World Hunger. Is like,
Come on, don't feed him yet! Don't feed him yet!
they just put this fucking poor husband's like shaking, scared, Like, don't grab him. One more shot.
One more. We don't. No. We like that. Keep. We like the shivering. Don't warm them up.
So obviously, then we get to the Halloween party, which is everybody who really doesn't like each other in one place. Again, of childhood. His mom, Drew's mom, lets Drew go to the party because she's being a great mom, and her abusive husband, I guess, right? Let's just say husband at this point, is a stepdad. Yeah. Basically goes to beat the shit out of Drew at the party because he shouldn't have gone.
It's fucked up. The fact that she doesn't seem to understand. I mean, does seem to get what's going on, but there's still a bit of ignorance that is often there with the wives of abusers.
I mean, she's probably scared, though it breaks my heart because it ends up being the death of her and her son. But
oh my god, yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, there's a lot of like. I like too, like the costumes, they feel like very old school, and like it's like a skeleton, like a badly wrapped mummy mask, like Dracula. It's not like you're getting Iron Man or anything. There's no licensed characters in there, which is fun because nowadays there absolutely be a bunch of licensed characters.
This is all about the public domain. Let's not get sued or spend any fucking money.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, I mean, I remember back in the day, like in the 90s, I'd be like, oh, I wish we got more. Like, I wish the kids in Halloween 6 or whatever were wearing Power Rangers costumes because it would be more realistic. Or it's like, yeah, like, or just, what I mean? Like that kind of thing where we've kind of come back around where I'm like, well, I kind of like the the public domain kind of costumes just because there's a charm to them.
It's funny how
that
hate happens.
Corporatization.
You talk about that, and the thing that I want to relate to you on that is when I was a kid, all I wanted was like a universe of movies, because we'd always have 3 movies and then it would start over or change. Like 3 Batmans, it was done, and then there was, I guess 2 Keatons technically, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
3 Spider-Mans, and that was it. And I was like, man, I wish we just had like a universe. That'd be so cool. And now we have a universe. All I want is singular stories that are out that side of that fucking universe. So I get it.
Everything has to be a universe.
And everything has to be corporatized with fucking tie-ins and stuff like that. So yeah, to you, you want a mummy costume because God forbid, now it has to be Iron Man. Because, I don't know, Disney owns Iron Man and Disney owns half the fucking film industries. And this is, we're at the same point where it's like, okay, everything is tied in. Everything has to be marketed.
We've mentioned our love for Mike Flanagan, but he's actually mentioned a couple times of like, it's like, oh yeah, Hush and like whatever, House on Haunted Hill and Bly Manor, they all take place in the same universe. Where I'm like, I don't need that. Like they can be their own separate things. I don't need to.
I mean, do they? Because it's all the same actors.
Yeah, exactly.
So
this makes it even more confusing.
Yeah, don't be that guy. There's singular stories that exist.
I could not be less interested in Mike Flanagan's The Exorcist.
No, because I think well, here's my pitch to you. I think exorcisms have been done to death. I think at this point, we haven't actually had a good block of time where we didn't have one. So if Mike Flanagan wants to come back in 10 years and do one and we have nothing in between, I'll say, show me what you got. But at this point, I kind of think religious horror probably needs a break. Though I know we could talk about The First Omen. But honestly, the religious horror aspect of that to me you could fucking put anything in there. It's just this poor girl in some sort of cult being used.
There's different flavors of it. I think the Conjuring has really ruined the mainstream view of like religious horror. But there's like the more interesting stuff, which is the First Omen, Immaculate, where it's less possession religious horror and it's more of a trying to raise the devil.
The church itself being a part of it. Sure.
Yeah.
But exorcisms specifically, I guess, I think were the flood of religious horror. That's what kind of did it. That and like the Omen, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah. Whatever Flanagan's going to do, I don't know. And I love the guy, but I'm not interested.
You saw Believer, right? Exorcist Believer?
Oh, I mean, saw it once. Yeah. When
okay,
you actually sent it to me.
Okay, I was just well, that's why I was just didn't know if you had seen it or not, because did you see that like David Gordon Green just did an interview where he revealed what his sequel would have been? And it sounds terrible.
No, what was it? Did you like that movie?
I liked Believer, yeah. To get rid of all the actual Exorcist stuff, I enjoy it.
Yeah. So what was this thing? What was this thing, man?
Do you remember the actress Ann Dowd? Great actor. She's in the movie. She's a great actress. It was going to follow her character, which, if you watch the movie, her character is pretty nothing and doesn't really like. She was going to go to Europe and like trying to research the demon, and I'm like, that sounds awful. You're gonna give me Ann Dowd in Europe as my Exorcist Deceiver sequel, aka after they put the ending of Believer where that poor girl is imprisoned in hell. You figured out who Ann Dowd was.
Compliance is one of the hardest movies I've ever had to watch, and of course, dude, she was probably, I don't know her name right now, Patty for The Leftovers. She's one of the best parts of The Leftovers, one of my favorite series. I fucking love her. But that to me says that you really didn't have this thing planned out, because it's supposed to be a trilogy, and that seems like a clunky. It's funny because I remember when I started in the movie, I was like, I'm glad she's getting paid. That's how I thought about her role.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I mean, I like her, and I liked her in the film, but they didn't set her up. Like she was essentially the priest character, only without being a priest. So, and without any, like, they didn't give her any kind of...
No, switching focus to her seems like you're making things up on the fly, but you were giving a trilogy. If I'm correct, he was giving a trilogy, correct? Yeah. Three movies. So what was the third one going to be about then?
Exactly. Dude, I doubt he even knew. I think that, because he even acknowledged, because he even said, he's like, well, I try to do stuff that interests me, and sometimes that's not what other people want, as evidenced by the Halloween movies. And he even acknowledged, like, he's like, he just doesn't think he was the right person for The Exorcist at this point, because clearly after Believer, what he wants from the franchise isn't what fans want.
And he got that clearly because he got it before Halloween Ends came out. He got it probably after Halloween or Kills.
Yeah, it was after 2018. It was in that period of time between those films that it was announced.
And I know we're just deviating like a motherfucker, but Halloween Ends, what's funny about that, and I know we've talked about it off air, is that wasn't his original plan, but COVID sort of sidelined. He had like time to think, and then he's just decided to make the dumbest movie ever made. So he could have had a slightly less dumb movie. I don't know, after fucking that shit show of a trilogy, I don't know how good it could have been, but the fact that he changed his mind on the last chapter, I think, shows you everything you need to know about that guy. Where it's like, no, follow through, because you kind of set up, not, Jamie Lee Curtis she's happy now. She's making cookies.
Yeah, and that's why I'm cautiously optimistic about a new Righteous Gemstones season, because I'm like, well, when's that season where David Gordon Green just decides, yep, I want to make this kind of show now? It's like, son of a bitch. Thankfully, he's not the sole creator and creative mind on that show. So hopefully there's enough people telling him no.
That's what you need in Hollywood. But okay, Pet Sematary 2. There's a part I want to bring up real quick. It's a dumb part. It's about 15 minutes in the movie. It's after they bury Gus. They kind of go home, and he has a nightmare. And I've thought about this a lot. It's at the 51 mark. Edward Furlong is having a dream, and it's fucking Gus looking through the window with this creepy fucking grin. It's raining, and I've had a deep-seated fear, or is it that the word? Seated fear?
Yeah, deep-seated fear.
Of people looking in windows. For some reason, that's something that always have got me. So I'm sure you've noticed if you've ever been to any place I've lived. I never have windows open, ever. Especially if the fucking sun goes down. That shit is locked up tight. And I'm thinking, I saw this at 6 years old. What if it's this fucking movie? What if I'm looking at the seeds that have grown into like a mangled tree of fear? Because I'm watching this and I'm like, as a little kid, that would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a scary visual, and like I like how insane, like, Clancy Brown is always just looks crazed in this movie. I think that's what works so well about it. But then also too, I want to bring up that there is a shot shortly after.
I see it.
Yeah, and you can see the little hockey mask, which you gotta know that is there specifically for the horror fans, and because that's the kind of stuff that like that was so prominent, especially in the 90s and late 80s of like, oh well, if this is a horror movie, we gotta have this, we gotta have that, like a butcher knife, a hockey mask in the background, just these little things.
I always think of Sleepaway Camp 2's VHS cover. There's like every horror icon thing in their backpack where it's like.
Yep, which they even Sleepaway Camp 2 has one of the kids wears a mask, wears that exact hockey mask and gets killed in it. So just a fun moment.
I was gonna say, so the humor in this, because it is a serious movie, but it's so schlocky, and I think it's schlocky because obviously Clancy Brown is playing it both serious and also like a fucking superhero villain. But I want to bring this up. Drew's in the house and it's raining. You got the fucking rain machines and the lightning, and it's over the top. And you hear Gus, he's like, Drew, let me in, Drew. Let me in, Drew. And then he opens the door and he looks for me. He's up there and he turns around and it's fucking Gus holding the keys. He's like, I found him.
Yeah, found him. It's like, oh, it's so good. When like, I love, then he immediately goes and he's like trying to clean up in the bathroom. He's like wrapping his neck and he's gonna take a shower, but then she stops him and ends up getting raped by like gross corpse Gus. Buried
in the ground, rotting. Yeah. Which is one of those things that as a kid, I never really caught. And then, obviously when I saw it in my teens, I was like, that's rough. Because then it's not the end of her. Like if he raped her, then she was dead. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. But then she just kind of hanging around. It's like, dude. But again, homegirl's got a yeast infection for sure. But it also shows you, it's just, in this dumb little movie, there is this dark subplot about an abusive husband and this poor woman, Yeah. It's definitely disturbing. I mean, and then like because there's the cutaway from like Gus's feet on top of her, clearly doing something untoward, and then it cuts to little, what's this, Drew. Can't remember his fucking name. Drew. You want to call him Fat Boy so bad. I'm like, just call him Fat Boy. I do. But then I'm like, oh yeah, it's 2024. You can't do that anymore. Fun nicknames just are out the window. Maybe he lost some weight. I didn't do any research on Mr. John McGuire. I'm going to look it up. Jason McGuire. Oh, Jason McGuire. You're worse than me with names. I am a scanner like you wouldn't believe. I just want to say, he is in Forrest Gump, and you don't want to know what his name is in Forrest Gump? Fat Teen. That's awesome. Good for him. I haven't seen Forrest Gump in a while. I have to give that a watch. Well, whatever. I'm sure he's doing fine. Now I'm curious as to who Fat Teen is, and a lot of that movie takes place over like 40 years. So like 35 years. But. I'm not seeing. I mean, I'll call him Drew. I'll be nice. This Fat Boy just seems cruel. Well, I can tell that you want to. It's like, listen, but go with your heart. That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah. With your heart. Let's. I want to talk about the weird guy that stuffs animals, and he's like in the midst of stuffing a pug. When Anthony Edwards comes and visits. It's the prior vet. Yeah, the info drop scene of how we like connected the first. This is like the first true connection besides the mailbox at the Creed house. He's like, let him to the Creeds. That's fucking great. He overacts. It's fantastic. Yeah, I get a kick out of it because he's like removing the eyes from the pug and like has his hand like up its ass like a puppet practically. And that the like, bird you see when you walk in is established as a taxidermy. And then at the very end, he throws something at the fucking door and the bird moves. So it's just they're going setting up like this guy is more than a taxidermist. Is that the proper word for this? Taxidermist? Whatever. He's just a weirdo. And then the rock music comes in and starts doing these like Dutch angle zooms into all these very scary looking pets. I'm like, who is this fucking guy?
I enjoyed that. I think the best scene in the movie though is the dinner scene.
Oh,
with Mr. Gus and Edward Furlong. Unfortunately, has to go to the most awkward family dinner of all time.
So
I guess this is technically just after another scene we should probably talk about, which is when Gus kills all the rabbits.
One of the scene I remember as a kid because it kind of shows the entire process. You get the real rabbit, then it cuts to breaking the neck, and then literally skins it basically with his hands. I mean, I think he has a little knife. Then it hangs him up. It's dark, and they're both just sitting there, kind of hanging out, watching it. It's like, what are you doing?
I assume that these are just real rabbits that they skinned.
I don't. I mean, it's the 90s, so it could have been, but I feel PETA might have had to stick up their ass. I don't know. I mean, there's a real rabbit in his lap, and then they cut to like the doll.
Yeah. I just think about the rabbits that are in the cage, and they just get to see all of their brethren just like hanging out, bloody outside of it. It's like, oh,
you just know. If you have any sort of self-awareness, you're like, oh no. There's a great cut though. What is that? Like, say it's like 101 or something, where he's ripping it off, and then it cuts right to like the plate slamming down with all the rabbits on it.
Mm-hmm.
Great little cut.
I mean, yeah, and obviously when he's actually doing it himself, like they're cutting in between things, but when they go into close-ups, like it still seems like it's a real. Like, I'm sure that's not good. Clancy Brown doing it, but it looks great. And my big thing is like, it's low budget. Why would they then make this special? You know what I mean? Why would they make this makeup effect when it's legal? You can kill a bunny and show it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bunnies get killed.
That is true. The only fight I'd give you is that Mary Lambert. I don't know. Like, I guess I could say it more from a guy director. I mean, I know it sounds sexist, and I don't mean to be sexist. I'm just saying that, like, I just assumed a woman director would have more empathy, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know where she's from. She might be a tough broad who doesn't give a shit. She might be like from a hunter's family, but it does even when he's cutting it, looks good. It looks like graphic and not like in a toy way. It looks real.
Yeah. I know we've had multiple diatribes on this episode, but I just have to bring up another because of Miss Mary Lambert, because back in the 2000s, I would randomly pick up Fangoria magazines, and you know how Fangoria, they'd highlight some indie films, but then it's like, oh, gotta keep an eye out for that. Well, there was a feature on a Mary Lambert film called The Attic. And
2007, actually.
Yes, and I rented it from Netflix, was all excited. And this is because I say this all because it's like, this movie is very much like, there's random things in this that you and I both would love, in terms of like one of the actors in it is Catherine Mary Stewart from Weekend at Bernie's and Night of the Comet, and Elizabeth Moss is in it. Like, there's just like random ass shit that goes on with it where it's like, wait.
And Alexandra Daddario, because God bless her.
That was, that was one I was waiting on, because there was something. I feel like
I've never seen this. I'm just looking at the IMDb. It looks so cheap and shitty, but it has a bunch of people in it that I'm like, how did you get these people? And, well,
it's so bad
because it's before they're all famous. That's why.
Yep.
I mean, obviously,
these people are no ones.
Catherine Mary Stewart's from the 80s, so it's like she's out of it, and everybody else is prior to their big hits.
Yep, and Daddario is, a teenager in this, and I believe her family, like her parents, are in the industry, so it's like, yeah, it makes sense that she would have access. But it's a terrible movie. I say that all just to be like, oh, I had high expectations just because I was like, oh, Mary Lambert, she's absolutely gonna be able to do something real cool with it. And then it's like, oh yeah. And that at the time I was like, well, I didn't realize I didn't like Pet Sematary. So
no, of course. And now we're looking, she does a lot of TV, and maybe that's where she belongs. I don't know. Maybe that's her talent. Though I think this is her thing. It's a well-directed movie. I would actually argue. It's funny. I don't know if she likes it. I feel I've read stuff where she kind of talks shit about Pet Sematary too, which kind of breaks my heart. But I've also given up on I've said this before, but like, I don't know. I get real bored when I hear artists talk shit about things of theirs that I end up liking, because I'm like, well, then how do I gauge you as a creative if you're just going to hate on shit? Like, I understand having some criticisms, but I've said this to you before. Even if I see an artist, like, I'm okay with them playing from an album I hate because there might be somebody next to me that likes that album, and there's no way to tell. So suck it up and fucking play your music. I understand you have to play every hit, but like, this is one of those things where, okay, maybe it's not the drama that you probably wanted to make, but you can't see the fun in this. You can't see Clancy Brown just eating up the fucking scenery. Come on, man. The dinner table.
You would think she'd have a lot more fun with it, because it seems like she's having fun with it. Like, the dinner table scene there's a fun energy to it.
The movie, I think, has more interesting shots than the OG. I don't know. It seems more. I don't know. It seems better directed, but maybe because it's a couple years after and she's more seasoned. But the dinner table scene, it's just Gus staring people down, like stuffing food in his mouth, just being a dick. I mean, and also I am noticing now that we're talking about this, that the wife is giving him some dirty looks. Yeah. But still, I mean, after a rape, I'd assume, she's still being a lot nicer than she should be. But again, tying back to the abusive relationship that she's kind of stuck in.
Yeah,
but
she knows what happened the last time she stood up for herself. That's kind of how I view it. It's like she doesn't want to then get, raped again or just beaten.
No, and it makes sense. But he has the mashed potato in his mouth, and he grabs, he starts laughing, and they all start awkwardly laughing because God forbid you don't want to upset Gus. Yeah. I love this scene because it goes on for a little long, to the point where, like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, it's a long scene of this just long laugh, and he slams his fucking hands down and just stares him down, dude. I love it.
It's a pretty damn funny moment. I mean, it's I feel like, did we cover Pet Sematary 2 for something? Because I feel like I needed. It might have been for our Pet Sematary video, because I remember I needed like a shot of like, it's like, hey, give me something, a good Clancy Brown scene. And you didn't even it wasn't the dinner table scene that I ended up using. It was something else.
Or was it no brain, no pain? Think about it. And it's a drill to Anthony Edwards' head.
It might be. I can't remember. I just remember watching it this time where I was like, there's so much good stuff at the dinner scene. I should have used this stuff.
Was it Anthony Edwards having sex with the girl with the big boobs that ends up having a fucking dog
ends
head?
Ends up being a dog head? That is so absurd.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over, but I'm going to bring this up. Clancy Brown, when Edward Furlong is going to turn his mom, he digs up a grave. Like, he breaks essentially the character that's been created. He goes, "You bury your own, son." It's like, that's not zombie Clancy Brown.
You bury your own.
Yeah, I mean, when Clancy Brown is pursuing poor Drew and his mom, like, that is, I mean, it's really well done, because you expect it to go a certain way, and it just keeps progressing, and then it's like you see the truck coming, and there's like part of you that's like, okay, they're gonna go off to the other side of it, and with that moment where the truck hits the car, it's one of the most brutal scenes in all of horror, because you can feel like the crunching of the car and therefore the people inside it, which then gets covered in potatoes. Where it's like, so you're going to get in an accident, which who knows if it actually kills you on impact. Then you're going to be buried alive in fucking potatoes.
Can I be honest? This scene is the one I remember the most as a kid. Again, 6 years old. And now that I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm kind of, I don't know, like, thinking back on life, I'm guessing, because again, why is the schlocky one scaring me more than the one that's about a loss of a child and a father? I was a kid.
Lance, I 100% know why.
I know exactly know why. I know why. I mean, but it's like, it's funny looking at this. It's like the dad goes and kills his son and his mom. And like, as a 6-year-old, that fucking, I couldn't, that was like, whoa.
Yeah. So it's like that thought, and we're like, wait, when my mom can't protect me, what? We're just, it's like we're screwed if this happens. Yeah, I mean, 100%. As soon as this scene even came up,
that's the one. Like, this is it. Clancy Brown chasing him down. Fucking haunted me as a kid. Not Freddy Krueger, not Jason Voorhees, not Michael Myers. fucking Gus Gilbert from Pet Sematary 2.
Because this feels something that's relevant to your own life, though.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's exactly what it is. Yes.
Yeah, you don't have anyone in your life that like is haunting your dreams or is really like adamant that no one enters his campground area. Like,
No, you know, can I tell you the 2 movies that scared me when I was little? Like, I'm talking little. You're gonna laugh. Besides Pet Sematary 2.
everyone has weird shit.
You know the other one. So again, I could tell you that the 2 movies that fucked with me when I was very, very little, because I was from the generation that could just watch anything at any time, which is funny now because I'm like, why would you let a 6-year-old watch this? But at the same time, I think it added to my personality.
Yeah, that's how I view it.
But besides Pet Sematary 2, around probably the same age, maybe 6 or 7, the only other movie that fucked with me, not Jason, not Michael Myers, nothing that's typical, it was Judgment Night.
Dennis Leary?
Dennis Leary, did you never see Judgment Night?
I've never seen Judgment Night.
So I'm thinking, like, you know, what fucks with me? People looking in windows and people chasing you. Those are my 2 like actual like spheres that kind of get to my heart. And I'm like, fucking A, Dennis Leary and fucking Gus Gilbert himself, Mr. Hadley, Mr. The Kurgan. That's the 2 things that like scared me as a child. Not anything like truly horrific.
That's okay. My 2 were Jaws and Little Monsters.
Well, Jaws makes sense because there's always water.
Yeah, Jaws. I think that's pretty widespread. I wouldn't shock me if Jaws is probably like the number 1 for in terms of like popularity of like and widespread of like that fear.
I can't go in the ocean right now without thinking about sharks. That's all I think about every single time.
I'm trying to think if there's the mom scene.
She's like,
I did think it was a little weird. I mean, obviously it's because Edward Furlong wants to team up, wants to see his mom return, but him teaming up with Gus is a little strange.
Oh yeah, because I even mentioned that like Gus fucking breaks his own. I'm pretty sure he says it. Maybe I'm making it up in my head. But there's like that really schlocky like set, and he has the shovel and he points where he's supposed to go. I mean, it's bad looking, but I kind of like it. But no, it doesn't make any sense. This is, yeah. I mean, the end of the movie, I think it gets a little sloppier than it should have. Like after Gus kills Drew and his mom, or his wife, Drew's mom. Furlong bringing his mom back is kind of dumb because it's like, dude, by now you know.
But it's a proper. I think everything has been ramped up with the schlockiness where the ending worked.
Sure, absolutely.
Had this weird ending, you put this onto the first Pet Sematary, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Because of the build up, I think that the ending does work. Because yeah, you're right. It's fucking insane, and it does go very just weird with it, and a lot of strange ethereal visuals and like dreamlike aesthetic.
Which I like, and that shows Mary Lambert's directing. But when he gets his mom, and when Gus is very around, there's this really like sweet, beautiful score. It's just so fucking out of place with all like the rock music of the movie. But no, I mean, you're right though. I mean, I think it's clunky. It's a clunky like ending of a movie, but I do like it because you got Edwards and his fucking gun going to get Gus in the house, which is now like lit with like blue and purple lights, and you got the rabbit singing. It's fucking great. I mean, we didn't even talk about him killing the bully from Big, or the bully in this movie that's from Big, with the dirt bike and his scarf. You know, something else that kind of I realized like, oh, I didn't know that could happen.
Well, like, does the scarf isn't he just trying to intimidate, and then the scarf like accidentally gets so then it kills them?
But then he's like, but then once it happens, he like leans in and revs it more, and there's like he breaks his neck, blood splat in his face. He's like, whoops.
Yeah. I mean, Clancy Brown is the best part of the film, easily.
But that also means that at one point he actually goes and defends his son, who he will kill. Like it's inconsistent, I guess, as a zombie, but it also shows you that he's willing to kill anybody. But he does go and actively get the bully because the bully's being a douchebag. So he's like kind of heroic for a moment.
Unlike was it Malachi at the end of Children of the Corn? I get those kinds of vibes from the ending of this movie with Furlong in the suit.
Waiting for his mom.
Yeah, he looks like so sad and stoic, and I don't know. It works for me though. The bully, I don't understand why Gus killed the bully only to bring him back, and like there's just like these random things where I'm like, wait, what, why did you do this?
Because I can tell you why. He killed the bully for the audience,
Yeah.
For no other reason, because that part actually doesn't make sense. Because it doesn't. Why would he? But in bringing him back to then, yes, he killed him because he's being a douchebag. But then he brings him back to help him is, I don't know. But that's I like that because then the bully has his fucked up face in his eye and he's like, he's fighting John Connor, which I feel I should probably, before this ends, let me say Edward Furlong because I think I keep calling him John Connor.
I mean, his name in the movie is called Jeff Matthews, and I have not called him that once. I've only called him Edward Furlong. So I think that once you get to a certain degree,
and I should say, and I don't know if you agree, but when I did my video, I got a lot of shit because people think he's a terrible actor, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I like Brain Scan, Pet Sematary 2, and Terminator 2, and obviously Battle Through Time. But I've always had a soft spot for Edward Furlong. I really do. And his American History X. I don't know. I don't really get the hate for the guy, man. He seems like a decent dude.
No, I'm right there with you. I get it, and I like the ending with like all the fire and the mom getting taken out, and it's fun.
Her face melts. It's a good effect, and then I think it ends. Does it end on Can we talk about the fucking terrible? But I do kind of like it because it just doesn't make any sense. The wide shot of the van leaving, they're leaving Maine, and it has this sitcom ending where the little pictures, the little bubbles show.
Yeah, it's so very, very strange. But all right, I unfortunately have to go. So, what is your rating for Pet Sematary 2?
3.5. I don't give a shit. I defend it.
3.5. Okay, cool. I mean, I really enjoy. I might be a 3. I think I'm a 3.5 too. I did really enjoy this.
I got you.
I was closer to more of a 3, but then I think about Clancy Brown, and that stuff is really, really fun. So
and the sitcom ending, they're all like laughing. It's like ba ba ba.
Can't beat that. Yeah, that's really all. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe anywhere, or follow, review us, any of that stuff. And you can also make sure you subscribe to our Patreon. You can get a monthly roundup where we go over newer releases and then a film commentary. And then you can also get our weekly episodes 1 week early. So definitely check that out. And thank you guys so much. We will see you in the next one. Goodbye.